In this video, I'm going to be modeling for you and walking you through a couple of the scenarios that we use that involve rounding and critical thinking. So we've already been practicing for a while how to round by finding the benchmarks and the midpoint and comparing our number to the midpoint. Well, now we're going to be putting another layer of kind of logic, problem solving with it. So I'm going to walk you through two different problems. And you'll see kind of the thought processes that we're looking for fourth graders to use. So here, this scenario here is that there's a radio station, and they are telling you that a basketball stadium holds about 9,300 seats. And they're saying that whoever can guess the exact amount could win tickets to the basketball game. So these three friends right here all gave a guess. And we're trying to decide which one of them could win. So that means which one of their guesses would round to 9,300. If their number wouldn't round to 9,300, then they're automatically not going to be able to try and win those basketball tickets. So that means that we need our number to round to 9,300. Now keep in mind that a number might round up to 9,300, or it might round down to 9,300. So we need to be prepared for both of those. So what we like to do is we like to make a number line, and we like to put 9,300 as the first hundreds benchmark. And I know this is a hundreds benchmark because the hundreds place has a more specific digit, and then these are our zeros placeholders. So I know that the ones and tens have been rounded down and made more simple. So the 3 is in the hundreds place, so I know it's a hundreds benchmark. So then I know my next hundreds benchmark is 9,400. Now this is if the number is rounding down to 9,300, but a number could also round up to 9,300. So I have to be prepared for that. So the benchmark before that would be 9,200. Now let me get my midpoints. My hundreds benchmarks have a midpoint of 50. So I've been adding it here so I can just remember it's 9,350. And then the same here, 9,250. So here I am with these three people. They made guesses. Jake guessed 9,309. So I need to figure out if his guess fits on either of these number lines. So this is the 9,300s and this is the 9,200s. So Jake's number fits on this top number line. Now I need to figure out where it fits. Well, he has equal thousands, equal hundreds, less tens. So that means his number is less than the midpoint. So I'm going to put a J for Jake. And what this is telling me is Jake's number, his guess, would round to 9,300. So Jake gave a meaningful guess. His number would round to 9,300. All right, now let's look at Ralph. Ralph is 9,248. He would not fit on the 9,300s number line. His would fit on the 9,200s, but he could still round to 9,300. Now I got to look. So we're equal, less. Now he has less hundreds. Oh, wait, sorry, here. Equal, less tens. Okay, so Ralph's guess would be here. He's less than the midpoint. That means he would round down to 9,200. So Ralph's guess would not round to 9,300. Sorry, Ralph. All right, so let's look at Mary's. Mary's also in the 9,200s. Okay, and we saw that Ralph's didn't work, but let's check Mary's. So Mary has equal thousands to the midpoint, equal hundreds to the midpoint, equal tens to the midpoint, and more ones. So Mary's number is more than the midpoint. That means Mary's number would round to 9,300. So we have two people here who made meaningful guesses where their number would round to 9,300. So what you notice here is we actually worked backwards. Instead of rounding these numbers to a benchmark, we were actually given the benchmark, and we had to work backwards to see which one would meaningfully round there. So we were working backwards. All right, so that's one example where we're using critical thinking. Here's another example. So let's say that a party has 5,173 guests coming to their party, and they want to have cupcakes for everyone that's coming. So 5,173 people are coming. So they need 5,173 cupcakes. Well, they're going to call the store, and they're going to give them an estimate of how many cupcakes they need. So we need to think critically about this and think about what would be a good estimate to give. And we have 3 place values that we can round to. So let's take a look and see. If we round to the nearest 1,000, all right, well, let's see here. That would mean I'm in the 5,000s. And my next benchmark is the 6,000s. And so my midpoint for thousands is 500, so it's 5,500. Okay, so my number is less than the midpoint here. So that means I would call the cupcake store and say I need 5,000 cupcakes. Now that wouldn't be a good idea because that means 173 people, if they show up, wouldn't get a cupcake. So I need to make sure that I'm ordering enough cupcakes. So this would not be a good place value to round to because it's giving me a benchmark less than what I need. I need to have a number that is or above that for this situation. So let me try the hundreds place. Let me try the hundreds place. My starting benchmark is 5,100, which means my next one is 5,200. My midpoint is a plus 50, so it's 5,150. My number is greater than the midpoint, which means I would be calling and saying I needed 5,200 cupcakes. That's great because that means I'm not going to run out of cupcakes. So rounding to the hundreds place is a good idea for me. Let's look at the tens place. If I round to the nearest 10, all right, well, my starting one is 5,170. So my second one is 5,180. And my midpoint for tens is a plus 5, so 5,175. My number, because of the ones place, is less, which means I'm going to round to 5,170. That is not a good idea because then I won't have enough cupcakes. I'm only going to have 5,170 and I need at least 5,173. I could also round to the nearest 10,000. Okay, so what that would look like is, well, I don't have any 10,000s right now. And here I would have one 10,000 or 10,000. And my midpoint is 5,000. And my number is more hundreds, tens, and ones over here. So it would round to 10,000. So now I need to look and see. So that place value would work also. So then I need to look and see. Here I would have a lot of cupcakes extra. Here this was not a good one. Here I would have about 30-ish cupcakes left over. So these two are my best decisions because they give me enough cupcakes. Then I need to kind of decide, do I want a lot of leftovers or just a little bit of leftovers? But these 2 place values don't work because they make me round down, and I definitely would not have enough cupcakes at all. So these 2 scenarios help us with kind of critical thinking and rounding. Some of it's thinking backwards. Some of it is us making good judgments and good decisions using our rounding. So use these ideas when you're working with rounding and critical thinking.